Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And once again, this is the one-day chart. We're sitting here just above 53 cents. So much for everybody's predictions on Friday. Everybody was saying by Sunday, we will be well above 60 cents. But still, people are saying this week is going to be very big for crypto as well. Let's wait and see how it all plays out. This comes from Alex Cobb. Google has removed Bitcoin price chart from search results, but didn't remove XRP. Now, there's a lot of speculation around this, and a lot of people said they moved the Bitcoin price chart to finance section on Google. But, you know, everybody's going to be talking about this for days to come. Nobody really knows why it got removed from the search results. I'm sure we will find out soon enough. This comes from the crypto philosopher. Ripple is partnered with all the governments and central banks. Why would the elite want people believing that Bitcoin is a hedge against banks when Ripple is working with the governments and the banks? Because it's deception and XRP is the agenda. I would agree with that. What's going on in this is my thoughts. I think you're seeing that push towards Bitcoin coming from BlackRock, Saylor, and the rest. At the same time, Ripple is out there putting rail after rail in place all around the world. And everybody talks about Bitcoin as being freedom money. You want to break away from the US dollar, invest in Bitcoin. You want to break away from CBDC, get into Bitcoin. Now, BlackRock, their agenda is one world currency. Their agenda is CBDC system. Tokenization, tokenized IDs, tokenized digital ID. They want to tokenize you. So if BlackRock is going down the path of CBDC and pushing into the digital age, and they know Bitcoin is the competition of a CBDC, that makes BlackRock the biggest Trojan horse we have ever seen in the crypto space. Because that means they are here to take control of Bitcoin. Eventually, they will end Bitcoin. I honestly think who's going to end Bitcoin is most likely going to be China, because they already control over 51%. But that's my thoughts, you know, and it's the same reason you don't see XRP all over the mainstream media news. Even when they talk about XRP, they seem to call it Ripple. They never call it XRP. And I think that happens by design. Tokenized commodities are reshaping how we invest in and trade real-world assets. What are your thoughts on tokenized commodities? So you look at this chart right here, and I know this is a typo. It says gold. They meant to say gold, but don't worry. I'm sure they will find a way to tokenize the cold weather as well. Then you see silver, oil, and gas, agricultural products, rare earth metals, real estate, carbon credits, and collectibles. Everything is going to become a token as we push into the future. Real estate is going to be huge because if somebody doesn't want to sell their entire house, they can tokenize their house and only put maybe 10% of the tokens out on the market. Investors could tokenize a property by splitting it into smaller pieces and using smart contracts to automate operations. The records are stored on a secure digital system. The owner can prove their ownership using a private key. Anyone interested in buying, renting, or financing can easily check the property's history utilizing this system. Past transactions recording the property, including any outstanding debts, and are also be able to show transparent, unchangeable records. That's going to be huge because people will be borrowing in a whole different way as we push into the future. Even when it comes to refinancing, that'll be done different than it is today. But what about tokenized commodities versus commodity-backed cryptocurrencies? Commodity-backed cryptocurrencies are digital assets designed to be more stable than volatile cryptocurrencies. This stability is achieved by linking their value to tangible commodities such as real estate, gold, or oil. A company or organization holds the actual goods and issues tokens representing a specific amount of that commodity. The token's value fluctuates in line with the cost of the underlying commodity. Like I always said, when it comes to XRP, it's not going to be commodity backed, but it's going to be moving the value of commodities on a daily basis. Anything that becomes tokenized on the XRP ledger, all that value, when somebody wants to move it, they are going to be moving it using a trust layer, a bridge currency, XRP. The quantum financial system is coming. XRP and XLM, digital assets, are here to stay, and nothing can change that. For those still asleep, it's time to wake up. It isn't about changing currencies, but revolutionizing central banking. Now, whenever somebody talks about the quantum financial system, and no, it is not live, that is a complete scam. They always try to reflect back to where XRP is backed by 1 ounce of gold, XLM backed by 1 ounce of silver. And I know this mapping is wrong. It was to give people an idea on where the price of XRP can go in the future. Now, I do think we will have quantum computers running the new financial system. We're also going to have a lot of AI in the new financial system. But XRP does not need to be backed by gold to begin with, because XRP can move a million barrels of oil. It could move anything that needs to be moved, anything of value. And that's why I always said it's going to be way more valuable than 1 ounce of gold. ECB Director Piero Cipollone has called for a European ledger to support tokenization in capital markets. He highlighted some challenges, but urged the EU to embrace a digital capital markets union rather than see tokenization as a threat. So it looks like in the EU, they're going to push ahead with regulations around tokenization. Once that starts, all of a sudden, we will see the first boom around tokenization. I think that's why you're starting to see Archax in the UK, in the EU. Later, they will make their way to the United States, but Archax will be tokenizing assets on the XRP ledger very soon coming out of the EU. Regulations equals the green light. For years, the story of institutional adoption of digital assets has been ahead of actual adoption data. That's now changed. Regulatory advancements such as the introduction of spot ETFs have paved the way for wider adoption. At Galaxy, we believe strongly that further regulatory clarity is on the horizon and that a sustained period of institutional adoption will flow. Like I said, all we're waiting for is regulatory clarity. Once regulations are put in place, that's it. Everything is going to speed up so quick. Everybody that's been sitting there saying, well, look, XRP is still sitting here at 53 cents. Finally, they will all be silenced like an overnight event, because institutional adoption is going to happen so much quicker than retail adoption so far. I mean, think about it. How many retail investors there are in crypto? Think about all the people that never got invested in crypto. Look at all the people that you talk to that see crypto still as monopoly money. But once institutional adoption happens, all of a sudden people will then want to start investing in crypto. The difference is we got here when XRP was still under 50 cents, under $1. They're going to be coming in when XRP is well above $10 or $20. And we are going to get very rich as institutional adoption happens. Stablecoin legislation is ready to go. This comes from Smoke. Take a listen to this.
How might the November election flip that or change that or accelerate that? And then kind of what do we expect depending on that outcome next year? You know, again, maybe like, does it break down to we'll just get stablecoin if the Democrats win, or it's going to be market structure?
Yeah. I mean, I think those are the two issues you just mentioned, stablecoin and market structure. Excuse me. Those are the
maybe just very briefly, why don't you define those two again?
Yeah.
What exactly are the stablecoin bill and market structure? What might that entail?
No, so I would actually say broadly, there are three policy areas that are most interesting for Congress. The first is stablecoin legislation, and this goes back to 2019 when Facebook announced the Libra project. There's been a lot of interest in stablecoin, and the problem is there's not any regulatory framework in place for how to deal with stablecoins. They're so different than what we see in the traditional banking world today that those rules don't really apply. And this was a conclusion that not the industry came up with, but the President's Working Group, which is a working group of senior financial regulators, both in the Trump administration and again in the Biden administration, said, hey, we need to have some way to regulate so that when you have these centralized issuers of stablecoins, we know that those reserves are put in appropriate asset classes and that they're there, right? That there's audits and there's some standards around this. Like, this just doesn't exist in federal law today. So putting that framework in place is something that should be relatively easy to do. It could actually happen in the lame duck, depending on how productive of a legislative session the lame duck being the period of time between the election and when the new Congress takes place. So basically the month of December. That is something that could be done in the lame duck, or I think it's something that could move fairly quickly, like Q1, Q2 next
year. Why is that? Why would it move quicker than other things?
Because it's sort of an isolated issue that has been very well vetted. I would say in general, the legislative process is not something that happens in a couple weeks or a couple months. It takes, for something comprehensive, it can take up to 7-10 years to get a bill done, right? So if you look back to 2019, we're heading into 2025. Like, this is something where there have been a dozen plus congressional hearings on stablecoin legislation. There have been drafts in both the House and the Senate. There have been a lot of ideas that have been publicly vetted and refined, and it's just kind of ready to go. It's not something that somebody just introduced yesterday. This is an issue that's been debated longer than any other issue.
So it's ready to go, and she said it could happen as early as December or Q1, Q2, 2025. I think they're going to rush it out because this paves the way for a CBDC as well. And I know that's something that they are still pushing for in Washington. But take notice, she also said audits are going to be involved around stablecoins, and that's going to be a major problem for Tether going forward. I don't see Tether making it under US stablecoin regulations. That's just my opinion. It is very possible that XRP holders are holding the banks hostage, which could explain why they're using the SEC to stall Ripple's progress and delay XRP adoption in the United States. With a failing monetary system, banks need the XRP to stabilize, so they're trying to shake us out. I don't know if it's so much that they're trying to shake us out. I think what is going to happen before XRP really takes off, before it really breaks out, some big piece of bad news is going to come first. And all of a sudden, the price of XRP, and maybe it's a black swan event, and it sends all of crypto plummeting. That could even be the fall of Tether, something like that. Because that will shake a lot of people out. People will be so frustrated after watching these cryptocurrencies go sideways for such a long period of time that something like that would be the last straw for a lot of people. So then all of a sudden, within a day or two, boom, XRP just takes off like overnight. And then we realize it's going live all around the world. That could be something that plays out. And that's something you always got to prepare for. What it would happen if XRP was to, say, plummet down to 15 cents. Me personally, I'd be buying more. But maybe the news is so bad that led up to the drop, and then maybe we find out later that the news wasn't real news to begin with. You see what I'm saying? I think they're going to create an event possibly that was like one last shakeout before XRP goes. Because we all know what it's built to do. We all see the Ripple rails all around the world. So what's coming is going to happen. XRP is definitely going to be the world's bridge currency because you don't have all these rails in place for no reason. September 2024, the path to digital identity in the United States using blockchain. Like I said, this is also another reason why they're going to push for regulations, because digital ID is also going to play a very big factor as we push into the digital financial system. I mean, everything's going digital. Digital money, digital transactions. You're going to have a digital ID. And I knew this was coming. It's been gradual. It's the same reason you also see the banks pushing for a digital wallet. You'll have to have a digital ID to go with your digital wallet. That's my prediction. And I think we're close to this also in the United States. Most likely that will be part of 2025 as well. Crypto adoption is on par with early internet adoption. Now, if you look at the adoption cycle here, you see 2014 to 2016, blockchain, not Bitcoin. Then 2017, the big bubble, Bitcoin awareness reaches the mainstream, and it's been pushed through the mainstream more and more year over year, but nothing in the past ever looked like it did today. Today, the Bitcoin hype is at a new all-time high. 2018 to 2019, infrastructure. A new wave of entrepreneurs arrives to fill the infrastructure gaps the big bubble laid bare. And you see all who jumped on board, Robinhood and so on. 2020 to 2021, the great bull run. 2021 was not good for XRP because XRP was held back by the SEC. Plus, it was already delisted off of a lot of major exchanges. This time around, nothing's holding XRP back. 2022 to 2023, FTX meltdown. But there was a lot of crashes that year. And that was the worst year in crypto. It was the same year I started this channel. I remember I was making Luna videos back then. And, you know, everybody was talking about Luna the same way they're talking about Tether now. And even FTX, remember, there was nothing wrong with FTX. They're working with the US government. FTX is solid. Look at all the celebrities talking about it. And what happened next? It came crashing down. 2024, Bitcoin on the ballot, and BlackRock getting involved and so on. And, you know, this is the first election cycle that has crypto as a major issue inside of a U.S. election. But, you know, going forward after the election is over, we have adoption and innovation. This is where we're going to see the rise of tokenization. We're going to see the rise of Web3. We're going to see the rise of utility. And this is where the shift is going to happen. All of a sudden, everything leading up to this moment, once utility takes over this market, will be nothing but noise. The days of FTX crashing down will be long in the past. Bitcoin will be irrelevant because everything will be talked about around a handful of cryptocurrencies. The memes will be gone as well because regulations will be put in place. But, you know, once we get to that point, you're going to be looking at a far different XRP. I think easily, once we break $1 this time around, we're never going back under $1 again. And then we'll be saying the same thing about $5 and $10 and so on. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.